Louisiana versus all y'all. Jarrett Roser here today with rising senior cornerback for Zachary, Ralph Walker III. Just, one of the key pieces of that Broncos team, and just waiting for his opportunity for senior season. Usually the last couple of years we've been seeing each other a lot through the spring and summer, but it's been kind of a strange stretch as we're not able to do 7-on-7 and the camps and all that. But how have you guys been doing, man? It's good to see you.
And so we've been doing great. We've been working. We've been having summer workouts still. Staying 6 feet and staying safe.
For you, I know you've been a guy that throughout all of this, even before the team was able to get back together and start getting into some summer stuff, you were finding ways to stay active and get some drill work in, even early in the quarantine process and the shutdown of everything. Take me through, I guess, what some of you've been able to do on your own, as well as now that the teams have been able to come back together, what that's looked like to be able to get into some smaller groups.
Well, at the start of quarantine, I had to stick to field work because we didn't have access to weight rooms yet. We started going to the weight room more, started working out more, and then eventually got with the team and started doing the same thing.
And you talk about, I guess, the opportunity in the weight room. When you finished up junior season, you were 5'7", 135 in that playoff game against Acadiana, and now you're pushing 5'11", you're 166. They just measured you guys the other day, 73.5-inch wingspan. How much have you seen you continue to develop body-wise in terms of the growth spurt and some of the payoffs from that weight room?
It helped me a lot, really. I actually gotten faster since the growth spurt, and I've been getting stronger in the weight room. And I've been just learning how to use my body more and how it can affect my field.
What does that look like? What type of impacts do you think that can make for you? You kind of alluded to it some there, but when we're actually back to Friday nights and eventually Saturdays, in terms of the physical competition side of things, you're a guy that's always put in a lot of work and had a lot of success, and now all of a sudden you've got an extra 4 inches of height and a little bit more muscle to you and all that. What type of an impact can that have for you as you're out there on a Friday night now?
I think that can make a huge impact now that I could play more physical. I can use my body more against the opposing receivers, and I think I can make plays more.
What have been some of the things in your first 3 years of high school that you've kind of felt your most confidence in, some of the things that you feel like have allowed you to have the success that you've had to this point, if you're kind of talking about strong suits of your game thus far?
Coverage mostly. And since I've gained weight and got up in height, I can actually tackle more. But in my last 3 years, I've always been great in coverage, in my opinion.
What do you attribute some of that success in coverage to? What do you feel like enables you to have success in that area of your game?
I really think my mind mostly, because it's easy for me to determine the receiver's routes by how they run and how they drop their hips, in my opinion, and also just speed.
You've pretty much always been around football and always put a lot of work in. So the diagnosis of some of the things you're seeing and the ability to quickly read and react probably comes with years of time and effort.
Yes, sir.
And you, during the course of any given week at Zachary, a cornerback or a defensive back is going to have his work cut out for him, just in terms of some of the competition you see through practice. You and Chris Hilton obviously joke back and forth about kind of y'all's practice matchups, and your entire time that you've been there. You guys have gone through together, and there have been some great wide receivers that have been years ahead of you. They've got some other great receivers coming through behind Chris. What do some of those practices look like in terms of the level of competition out on the perimeter?
It's very competitive in practice. Me and Chris go at it basically every week. And, yeah, we'll joke around about it and stuff, but it's really serious when we get on the field.
No doubt. what has it been like to see him have some of the recruiting things fall into place the way they have for him, and to see him commit to LSU and be about as excited as Chris will ever show emotion, I guess. And what has he kind of told you as we start to see some of the things fall into place for your recruiting process, and then hopefully some more big things to come here soon too?
I loved it. I love that Chris got all the recognition he had, because that's basically one of my best friends, and it's just to see him blow up like that, it was amazing. And he just told me like to stay focused.
For you, when the Florida Atlantic offer came in April, what was that moment like for you? And what have some of the conversations been like with that program since then? Because I know we looked at this year as a big opportunity for you to go prove yourself in the spring and summer, and it has been such a weird year. To have that offer fall into place and know that was an opportunity for you, how big was that moment, and what has that relationship been like since then?
It was a blessing. That was probably the happiest moment of my life, to be honest with you. And Coach Bruce been on me about gaining weight and getting height, which I have, and just staying focused so you can get more.
Yeah, they're probably hoping that that not too many of these other colleges catch on to kind of some of the progress that you're making out there, so they can get one of the steals of the class, I'd imagine.
Yes, sir.
Who have been some of these other schools that you've heard from? I know some other schools you've ended up on their radar, and the offer hasn't come yet, but that they have been starting to build that relationship and continue to evaluate you.
I've been hearing a lot from South Alabama. Coach Jones and their program, they're doing great things over there. And I've heard from Tulane and Coach McCleskey a lot too.
Without being able to get to schools and without them being able to get to you, what does some of that recruiting process look like during these strange times? Because you hear so many guys talk about just kind of the amount of FaceTime and Zoom and potentially like virtual tours, or being able to send some of your footage from drills to schools. What does that look like for you? What do you feel like has been kind of some stuff that colleges have wanted to see from you, and some stuff that you've been able to see from them, even under the unusual circumstances?
Well, my game film was like kind of limited, so they like to see a lot of workout videos, and they like to talk to me like personally, so they FaceTime me a lot. And that's basically it.
What have been some of the things that they've talked to you about that has really stood out from what they've seen from some of that footage?
They talked to me about, obviously, like gaining weight, because in my junior film, I look mostly like small. So since I've been gaining weight, they've been talking to me about staying focused, looking off you in due time, and just keep your head straight so you can have a great senior year.
Are there other aspects? Obviously, you have the benefit of some of the physical growth. Are there other things that you really kind of have high on your list of priorities that you're kind of focused on and trying to build upon during the back half of this offseason and getting ready for senior year?
I've really been trying to, even though I have like a great mind aspect of it, I'm still trying to advance my mind so I can even read routes better than I was before. And, I mean, there's always room for speed. You can always get faster, and it can always help you out in the game. So mostly I've been doing those two.
What is y'all's overall outlook for this year? You guys have become one of the most consistent contenders in Class 5A through the years. I mean, since Coach Brew and some of those older guys that are now off at college level or even finishing college level kind of got over the hump and got to the Dome and brought one back. And y'all have been consistently either semifinals or Dome year in, year out pretty much. As you and Chris and this 2021 class gets ready for y'all's last go-around, what are some of those conversations like for the last run?
Last round, we want to defeat it in one state. And in my opinion, we got the team to do that because Chris is a great leader. Although he doesn't really talk much, he really is a great leader. And I do my lead. And we're trying to just win state.
How excited are y'all to just figure out whatever we've got to figure out to get back to that point where y'all are able to get together, throw on those pads and have get to a game point. Really, I'd say have like a full practice, but ultimately get to some games.
We're very excited. Like I said, we want to win state, so we're ready to get back at it and play some games.
For for anyone, I guess, for any messages that you may have to any schools that that don't know as much about you yet, how would you kind of describe yourself? I think we touched on it a lot from a football side, but just what would you hope that people know about you as they're considering either recruiting you if they're coaches, or if they're fans of a program like an FAU or a South Alabama, and you think that it's important for them to get to know about who you are? I mean, just kind of give you an opportunity to let folks know.
I'm very competitive, and you're gonna get a great teammate, a respectful teammate, and a person who just really wants to win. It is.
No doubt.
Sure.
Good deal, man. Well, I appreciate you taking a few minutes and chatting about some of it with me, and looking forward to seeing you again in person soon, and hopefully, as I mentioned, on a Friday night with a team from another school on the other side of you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it. Again, he's Ralph Walker III, getting ready for his senior year over at Zachary. He has that FAU offer from this year, hearing from South Alabama and Tulane, amongst some other schools, and looking forward to see where his college career takes him after finishing up this last run with the Broncos. For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jarrett Roser.